Markets got a little bit of relief yesterday, but the big question is still the same. Can diplomacy cool down inflation fears? Hey everyone, it's Saturday morning, May 23rd, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. So yesterday, U.S. stocks moved higher as investors waited for more news on the U.S.-Iran peace talks. The mood was definitely better than earlier in the week, because markets are now hoping that some of the pressure coming from oil, energy, and inflation could ease if there is real progress. The Standard & Poor's 500 gained 0.4%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose another 0.6% after already reaching an all-time high on Thursday. And the Nasdaq Composite also moved higher, gaining 0.2%. Now, the bigger story here is that the Standard & Poor's 500 finished the week with its 8th straight weekly gain. That is the index's longest weekly winning streak since 2023. So yeah, after a pretty nervous start to the week, investors ended up getting a much more positive finish. At the beginning of the week, the main concern was inflation. Investors were worried that higher prices, especially from energy, could push the Federal Reserve toward more rate hikes. But since Wednesday, reports about progress in the U.S.-Iran talks gave markets a bit more hope. Still, this is far from over. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Iranian media both signaled some progress in the negotiations. But there are still major sticking points, especially around Iran's uranium stockpile and the Strait of Hormuz. And that matters because the Strait of Hormuz is a key route for global energy markets. Any closure or disruption there could push gas prices higher and add even more cost pressure for consumers. And we already saw that pressure in the data. According to the University of Michigan, consumer sentiment fell to a record low in May, while inflation expectations moved higher. So, consumers are clearly still feeling the squeeze. Earnings season is also coming to an end. Booz Allen Hamilton reported better earnings than expected, but revenue came in below estimates. So, a mixed result there. Bottom line, markets ended the week stronger, but the rally still depends heavily on inflation, oil prices, and whether the U.S.-Iran talks can actually deliver real progress. Alright, that's it for today's Capital Markets Quickie. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe and stay in the loop. See you Monday morning.